What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Foambirds RC. I'm Hugh. First off, sorry for the pretty substantial delay between videos. I had a really busy summer. But as always, I was working on some projects, the biggest and best of which I'm going to show you right now. So, like I said in the intro, I have been working on a very big project. This is both big in excitement and new things. It's also very big in size. This is probably double the size of airplanes that I built before. I focused mainly before on like more kind of sports scale type size, but this I'm just going absolutely behemoth. And or behemoth for me at least, probably not behemoth for a lot of people, but behemoth for me. And I'm making something that I think will have a lot of fun with, and I will learn a lot from. Before I show it to you though, I wanted to mention this is only the first video in the series. So as you're gonna see, this project is not done. I've only worked on the fuselage. The fuselage isn't quite even done yet. So this is just going to be the first part in the series. The goal is here to eventually be, once I get more progress, I'll make another video, and then we'll have a build series that leads from right here, which is kind of the introduction and the kind of showing you what I've been doing so far, up to hopefully the maiden flight and maybe some flights after that. That's going to cover pretty much everything that I think is necessary. If you guys want something covered in depth, like the way that I designed it or certain techniques that I use, please put those in the comments because I do read those and I would be absolutely happy to make a video covering that. So without further ado, let's dive in. Alrighty, y'all. So here it is. This is the quarter scale Fokker DR.1. Main construction is almost entirely foam board. The only balsa that I use was in the cockpit, which I will show you later, but I mean, this thing is massive. I haven't taken a measurement yet, but it's filling pretty much my entire work table. So definitely the biggest plane that I've done yet by far. So much fun to build. I've been building it for probably about, I don't know, a week or so, and it has just been a blast. Super excited to start working on the wings, finish up the fuselage, and eventually, hopefully, get this thing in the air. So yeah, this thing is absolutely ginormous. I will go kind of quickly into some of the things that I did. There's not a lot right now that's not basic construction. Just kind of, first I established this, this box. So I made the top of the box, I made the sides, and I haven't made the bottom yet. As you can see, I'll flip it around here, sorry. I'm keeping that open, just simply for the reason that I want to be able to get in there. The servos are in there, so I want to be able to access those for as long as possible. So that's probably actually going to be one of the last steps that I do on the fuselage, is closing that up. So the servo wires from the tail run all the way down under the cockpit box right here and into what is going to be the electronics bay. This thing is great, super big, and it should suit the electronics bay need really well. I'm going to have a magnetic hatch that'll snap onto there, and then the firewall will be like right there, and the motor will be strapped to that. Probably the ESC will be on that as well, just for cooling purposes and whatnot, although with the radial that I'm going to put on there, we're going to have to see if that'll fit. But if it doesn't, I'll put some ventilation holes in the firewall, and then I will put the ESC in there. So the receiver is already in there. I might switch the receiver to something bigger if I need it, but I think 4 channels should be okay. And yeah, you can see the formers here. I've got 2 formers in the back to give it shape. 1 former right back there, like that kind of is the back of the cockpit box. And then the battery hatch former, is the front of the cockpit box. The elevator, swing around here. We got a full flying rudder, just like the original. The rudder is really, really nice looking. I really like it. I sanded the edges of it just to kind of give it more of a rounded shape, and that looks really good, I think. The hinge for the rudder is just paper and tape, so I'm not entirely sure if you guys can see that in there. I know it's kind of dark, but I had a little bit of extra paper left over on the end of the rudder, and I extended that, added some tape to it, and then glued that onto the inside of the wall of the fuselage, and that's working really well. Super sturdy, super strong, and that servo is providing plenty of power for it. Elevator servo is on the other side. You can see I ran a piece of plywood, and actually on top of that plywood there is a little piece of metal music wire, and that is providing the this other elevator right here with control movement. So even though the servo's on this side, this one is also getting some really, really good deflection, exactly the same as the other one, which is what I was going for, so I'm happy about that. I will flip it over here and we can look at some of the details on the top. So as you can see, one of the things that needs to be done is I need to finish the turtle deck. I've got the front turtle deck all laid up. That was super easy. Next step is probably going to be the back turtle deck. So you can see I've already actually got my former in there. I doubled this former up to get the former that I could glue the back turtle deck to. And then I might add another former right in there. We'll have to see. The goal is to keep it super light, and since that's not like a structurally necessary part, then I probably won't add that extra former right there, but if it needs it, then I will. Elevator is absolutely massive. There's going to be no problem with stability on this airplane with three wings and an elevator that size. It's quite incredible. Rudder is scale size, so I'm hoping that that'll give it enough like taxiability and whatnot. Definitely with World War I planes, I've heard you got to kind of fly them when they're on the ground, just as much as you fly them when they're in the air. As soon as that tail drops, the rudder becomes pretty much useless. So I'm definitely going to have to be careful about that when I'm flying it, but I actually don't think that it'll be much of a problem. What with that full flying, nice circular big rudder right there. The sides of the fuselage, as you can see, there are some like minor crinkles and stuff that I'm gonna have to sand out or spackle out later. Nothing too huge. We're gonna have to see. One of the decisions that I still have to make on this airplane is whether or not I'm gonna fiberglass it. We're really gonna have to see how strong it is after I've put it all together. So I really don't know. That's gonna have to be something that's gonna be covered in a later episode, because I just really am not sure about that right now. And really the last part that I wanted to go over was this, which is the cockpit. One of the reasons that I did a quarter scale was I had a quarter scale pilot. He's the guy in the black over there, as you can see. I bought him a while back, and I'd never been able to put him in an airplane, and I really wanted to put him in an airplane. So this cockpit was definitely a must for me on this one. The sides and bottom are sheeted with balsa. As you can see, there are rudder pedals, there's the stick, oil gauge, a throttle. I'm probably going to put some maps in on the other side, because as you can see right now, the other side is bare. But like put one of those little boxes where they kept their maps. I think that would be a really cool add-on. The seat is also balsa. I think it's just 1/16 inch sheet balsa. Didn't need to be very structurally durable. And then under it, I've glued some balsa, some like really thick balsa sticks, and those are gluing it to the floor. One of my favorite parts here is the instrument panel. I just finished work on that a little while ago. the back is paper, so all of the instruments are paper, and then I had a piece of 1/16 inch sheet balsa that I put on top of that, and then I painted that black with an airbrush. Airbrushed a lot of the other stuff too. All of this brown that you see right there is airbrushed, and then the seat is airbrushed as well. I'll probably do a little bit of minor weathering on this. World War I airplanes didn't weather as much because they, didn't have metal. They didn't have as big of engines. A lot of it was like oil staining and stuff in World War I, so I'll definitely try to replicate that. But probably will not be as much weathering as I would do to a World War II airplane. So I did want to pull out that airbrush a little bit and use it in the cockpit. Excuse the kind of overspray there. Since I'm going to paint over it, I wasn't super worried about overspray. So that probably will be something that I'll just paint over later. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about any specific pieces or any specific techniques that I learned or used, again, please do not hesitate to put them in the comments. And I will definitely read those and respond. Yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. Really hope that you're just as excited about this project as I am. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. It means more to me than you will ever know. Before I close, I wanted to give a huge thanks to Mr. Joshua Orchard. His videos, specifically his build series on the quarter scale Fokker D8, I believe, are super, super, super helpful. He covers a lot of techniques that I use, and he's just really explains everything super thoroughly. So if you guys have not checked out his videos, definitely be sure to do that. Super amazing builder, super amazing RC pilot. So definitely a huge inspiration for me, and I think for a lot of the larger scale builders out there. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and until part 2, I'll see you at the field.